Hello, film fans. Welcome to All the Film Things. I'm your host, Elizabeth. Thank you for listening. If you're enjoying this podcast, please leave a review or a rating. Also follow All the Film Things on Instagram for updates and more film things. Today, I am talking with Michelle Calloway. Michelle Calloway is a Jacksonville-based actress and producer who has succeeded in being both in front of and behind the camera of artistic mediums, specifically photography and film, since she first started out in the industry. She has starred in short films such as The Weary Time Traveler and The Resident, and recently made her feature film debut in the comedy drama Greek Mothers Never Die, which is currently in the middle of a film festival run. Under her production company Lula Films, Michelle has written and starred in 3 short films, including Between Again and Belle Isle. Each of her 3 shorts explore the complexity of the human condition by following one woman who feels a disconnect within herself and/or to the world. Belle Isle, her sophomore short, has been screened at a dozen film festivals around the world, from Jacksonville and Chicago to Venice and Barcelona, and won the award for Best Experimental Short at the Independent Shorts Awards in Los Angeles last year. Aside from her work in film, Michelle is also signed with 2 modeling agencies, Posewell Model and Talent Management and The Peak Agency, where she has modeled for boutiques and advertisements. Michelle's latest drama short, titled Tallulah Park, will be hitting the film festival circuit soon and will have a premiere in Jacksonville at a later date. We will be talking more about this film later in our interview, but go to lulafilms.com to learn more about the film as well as Michelle's production company and past projects. Michelle, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Wow, what an introduction. I'm like, did I do all that?
You did do all that. You've accomplished a few things.
It's crazy when you put it all in perspective.
Yeah, you've been at it for a while, and I really respect that. It's incredible. And I'm so thrilled to have you on. This is the first time we're meeting in person.
Yes.
And we've been connected on Instagram for at least a year now.
We have.
This has been long overdue, so I'm so happy to have you here. And I have plenty of questions, so as always, we unfortunately won't be able to get through all of them or be able to devote as much time to certain projects, but I will try my best to make this a well-rounded interview. So, through preparing for this interview, I've learned you are a true artist through and through, across various art forms, starting with photography, film and photography, and back to film. So, how has your venture into filmmaking enhanced or expanded your artistry?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think because I started in photography, I always considered myself a visual artist. I always saw in pictures and feelings and emotions, and I feel like that was such a great foundation to have as I moved into filmmaking, because it wasn't anything that I thought that I would do. As a photographer, I was very specific about focusing on that medium, but I think I realized at some point in time, photography didn't allow me to say enough.
Wow.
And I started writing, and when I started writing and putting together the visuals for what I was writing, I guess at that time I realized I was making a movie. And I just kind of started combining all of those traits together. And it's informed the work, absolutely.
I know you've said that acting feeds your soul resonates with your soul more than photography, so I'm curious how your relationship with photography has evolved over time.
Yeah, so I didn't start acting until I was in my 30s, and it wasn't something I really wanted to pursue. It was kind of out of a artistic, what do I call it? An artistic exercise, because I realized I was really hiding behind a camera, and there was something to that. I was using it as a protective mechanism to block myself from the vulnerability. And I think I still wanted to connect with people, but I wasn't really fully there yet. I needed to do some work on myself. And so the acting was sort of the exercise in, okay, you're in front of the camera, people are looking at you, you're now being perceived. And I feel like that has helped me grow as an artist and a human, how I present myself. And if I'm looking back at my work as a photographer, I was very fearful a lot of the times when I was taking photographs because I was really intimidated by people. And it was a safe space to interact with people, but I was really afraid sometimes of photographing or asking people to take their photographs if I was doing like street photography. So I do feel like the growth of the medium of acting and performance art has influenced me as an artist and a soul, but also how I view work now. I think it would be much easier for me to approach somebody and ask them to take their photo, and I wouldn't have the same fears that I did maybe when I was in my early 20s, when I was in college.
I've heard you talk about this shift into being behind the camera predominantly to being in front of the camera. And I very much relate to that. I like to be behind a camera or behind a mic. What did you attribute your fear to being on camera to?
Oh, goodness. We're unpacking it all.
Yeah.
To be honest, I feel like a lot of it was trauma from childhood, things that I hadn't processed. And I think I definitely had a different upbringing. There was a lot of dysfunction within the home. And so I think a lot of my personality traits I can realize now were like self-protection. So because I felt really vulnerable and I kind of had to build up an armor to protect myself as a child, I think that lasted through into adulthood. And not until I did a lot of personal work on myself was I able to kind of peel back those layers. So I think a lot of it was just me walking around with like one big trauma response.
Wow.
I can laugh about it now.
Yeah.
But I was scared. Like I was a scared person, but I presented as somebody who was really confident. And it was an overcompensation, I guess you could say. I can look back and see that's what I was attempting to do. So anything that required me to be vulnerable or to be the center of attention was just too vulnerable. Like it was too much because I didn't feel supported fully and my sense of self was fragile.
Wow. You mentioned putting on a suit of armor, and there's and I know we have a few favorites and film interests.
Yeah.
And one of them being Gena Rowlands, who I'm about to ask you about.
Yes, Jenna, we love her.
We love Gena Rowlands. Rest in peace, the great Gena Rowlands.
R.I.P. from the Midwest.
Oh, she was.
Some of my favorite actresses are from the Midwest.
Oh yeah, Jessica Lange was one of your favorites too, right?
She's from Minnesota, and Jenna is from Wisconsin.
Wow.
And I'm from Iowa.
Yes, you're from Iowa. Another thing I wanted to ask you about. But there was a quote. I recently watched the film Faces.
Oh, wow.
And there's a line. Yeah, that's a great film. The line was, "Nobody has the time to be vulnerable with each other, so we just go on." And the character, I wish I wrote down which character it was. I think I know who it was, but I'm not sure. They continue to describe how mechanical people can be when their suits of armor are up.
Yes.
So I love that you just mentioned.
We just unpacked that entire theory.
And we're not even 10 minutes in.
We're getting there.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yes. I like to go in depth a little bit because film is personal and people connect and resonate with film. So it's a good way to learn about people and to relate and such. But speaking of Gena Rowlands, I remember when she passed, you had been posting on Instagram, and you seemed like she was one of your very favorites. So how did you become a fan of hers, and what does she mean to you?
You know, I became a fan of hers because I watched. So to preface this, I do not consider myself like a cinephile. I consume films as the average American consumes. I never nerded out over movies but there are certain movies that always stuck with me, but I wasn't somebody who sought out films. It was more like photography and visual art. But with that said, I still appreciate good art when I see it. So I was listening to an interview with Cate Blanchett, and they asked her, "Who's your favorite actress?" And she said, "The actress's actress is Gena Rowlands." So it's like, if you're an actor, like she's the go-to. And so I was like, who is she? And I Googled her, and then I found the movie Woman Under the Influence, and I watched it, and I was like, oh my God, what is this? Like, this isn't acting, this is living and breathing, and I totally get it. And it like undid me in so many ways. And I think that's where I became a fan, because there was some quality she was bringing that had the sense of realism. And when I started to think about my own work, and over time, right, it takes you a while as an artist to really understand, like, what is your style? What is your technique? I always lean towards artists like that, where there is a sense of realism, because I don't have a background in theater. And so I'm not a theatrical person. I'm more of an internal person performing externally. And so everything starts from inside. and moves outward, where other artists are the opposite. Like they need the clothes and the hair and the shoes and the makeup to like find the voice of the artist.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what Jenna was doing in a way. And she was fearless.
Absolutely
she
fearless.
Went there.
She was operating on another level in A Woman Under the Influence.
And you believed it.
Yeah.
I think too, it was that she wasn't building like this is one of my biggest pet peeves with acting is when you see a performance that is somebody who is performing, say, somebody with a mental instability or a drug addict or something that's obviously an affliction.
Mm-hmm.
They paint a caricature of what that person would be instead of embodying who that person is.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like Jenna does that so well.
Mm-hmm. Gena Rowlands was very much a New Hollywood staple. She was one in the forefront of New Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Another actress is Liv Ullmann. I was wondering if you happen to be a fan of hers as well.
I'm not familiar with her.
Okay.
No. I told you, I do some research, but I also am like a busy lady.
Yes.
So I haven't like unpacked all of the greats. But Jenna was just one that got on my radar quick. And to be honest, like I haven't done my research as far as old Hollywood actresses or kind of people at the forefront of acting. But when I stumble upon them and like something clicks, I'm like all in.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love to check her out.
Oh, I can give you some recommendations.
Please do. I'm ready.
She's one of the greats. Absolutely. Norwegian actress. Bergman staples. So
That's
she's amazing.
great.
But you mentioned some of the films that have really stuck with you. So what are some of the films that have impacted you the most?
I think Woman Under the Influence impacted me the most recently. And then I think when I watched Opening Night, that hit me like the same way. And I was like, oh God, what is this? But movies from the past that really stuck with me were probably The Hours.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Julianne Moore, Claire Danes,
Yeah.
Meryl Streep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nicole Kidman.
I saw that in theaters, and I think I was in high school, and I didn't get it. Like, I didn't understand it at the time. And then I revisited it when I moved to, I don't know, I think I was living in LA at the time. And then I realized, like, the masterpiece that really is. And I don't think I understood that, like, Meryl Streep's character was reading the book Mrs. Dalloway, and that Julianne Moore was playing Mrs. Dalloway, and then Nicole Kidman was Virginia Woolf writing Mrs. Dalloway.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't get that when I was 14 or 15.
Understandable.
And then when I got it, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Another movie that I can never get out of my brain is Requiem for a Dream.
Oh my God.
Like, I've seen it multiple times. That's the crazy person I am.
No, I've seen it 5 times. You're in the safe space here.
Yeah, I am a crazy person that has seen that multiple times. That movie hit me in a way that I had not been hit before.
Mm-hmm.
I also love Jurassic Park.
Why is that such a favorite amongst everyone?
Anytime that movie's on, I'm like, we're watching it. Indiana Jones, any of that stuff, I absolutely love. Iron Man, obsessed, love Iron Man. I have a 12-year-old son, so this all tracks. When I was a kid, like, Stepmom was like my favorite movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I like don't know why. I was just like, this is so sad and so emotional. So I kind of run the gamut. Like, I appreciate art films, but I also appreciate like watching some blockbuster thing like on TV. Like, I just saw Baby Girl in theater.
Well, we both loved the Nicole Kidman tribute to like the milk.
Yeah.
Cheers to all the baby girls. It's just so iconic.
Yeah, I just watched that recently. I watched Promising Young Woman recently.
Oh my
I hadn't
gosh.
seen that. That was a really good movie. I'm usually late to movies.
Okay.
Like, I'm not one to like jump on there and see it at the beginning, but I don't know. I appreciate movies that make me feel deeply, but I also appreciate movies that like paint a picture of a world that like I want to go to Jurassic Park.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I want to be a visitor.
Like an escapism.
Yeah, like there's a nerdy part of me that loves dinosaurs. And so, as much as I love highbrow art, I also love stuff like that.
Yeah. You need something to have fun when you have what satisfies your intellect, the analytical, and then you have your fun movies.
That's it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I know you've said that you really appreciate passionate filmmakers. So who are some of your favorite filmmakers?
Right now?
They can be right now. They can be some that have impacted you, biggest teachers, any filmmakers that come to mind.
This is like such a hard question.
I'm sorry.
Well, obviously, because we're on the Jenna Rollins kick, John Cassavetes was obviously the father of independent filmmaking. I really started to learn about his process, and I appreciate it. I appreciate that he thought outside of the box, and that when it came to distributing his films, he wasn't just stopping at a no. He was like, well, I will self-distribute this somewhere else, and I don't need you to do this for me. I'm going to figure out the avenue. I'm also appreciating a lot of the female writer-directors. So, Baby Girl was written by a female writer-director. I don't know her name.
Helena Rames.
Thank you. I'm really terrible with names. Promising Young Woman, the same.
Oh, yeah. Emerald Fennell.
Yeah, and she has another one, right?
Saltburn?
She did Saltburn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think what I'm leaning into now is the female perspective and the writer-director. I really am so excited to see The Last Showgirl.
That's what I watched last night.
Which was also written and directed by
Gia Coppola.
Thank you. I'm loving, because as a woman, when you watch a film written and directed by a woman, you're like, oh, only a woman could have written that line.
Yeah.
That happened in Baby Girl. Mm-hmm. When she was talking about the orgasm and having to pee or something like that, I was like, only a woman knows that happens.
Yeah.
Little things like that, where I'm just like, oh, that's funny. A man's not going to understand that, that line of dialogue.
Mm-mm.
So I guess I'm not so focused specifically, more that I'm seeing more female writer-directors. I'm appreciating that. And I appreciate all forms of art. Obviously, all artists are valuable as far as filmmakers in my mind, as long as they're putting out good, honest work. But I love watching things written and directed by a woman, because I'm like, oh, we've not seen that before.
Yeah. And you've worked with a few women writers, directors, Alexa Wind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, what's her name? Suissa? Rachel Suissa? Something.
Oh, yeah, Rachel.
Yeah.
She was the director of Greek Mothers Never Die and the writer.
Yeah.
And then Farrell Huntley, who directed Belle Isle.
Oh, yes.
So 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, recently. Yeah.
And you've directed your first film, and you wrote and starred in it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you'll ever return to directing?
So the first short that I did was shot in a day. It was just this thing that needed to get out, and there was no budget. It was just a fun little silhouette of something, right? I directed the shots that I wanted, and I location scouted, but there's no dialogue. It's just this really short little thing. So yes, I technically directed it, but I'm I visually directed that, in my head. I'm I was the visual director of that. Would I direct something again? Here's the thing. I've been directing my whole life. Mm-hmm. Being a photographer, that's all you're doing. You're directing people, you're directing other talent, you're everything. The producer, the director, the craft service, you're everything. And so I think what I love about acting and not directing is that I kind of get to pull back, and I get to help someone else bring their story to life. Or if it's my own, I at least have a co-collaborator, my director, that's helping me.
Yeah.
I think it's something I know that I could do well. I feel if I directed something, I could do it. I have the skill sets for sure.
You do.
I know how to talk to actors. I have a visual language. I know pretty much every job on set because I've probably done them all.
Mm-hmm.
And I know lighting so well because I'm a photographer, and I have a crazy attention to detail, but I act because it's hard. And I'm trying to challenge myself. And so that's why I haven't.
Okay.
I may, but I'm not trying to pull a Bradley Cooper in A Star is Born and be I'm writing, directing, and acting all myself.
You said that
that feels crazy.
I think it was writing, producing, and starring in a film was the scariest thing for you. So when you tackled that, was that like a big moment for you? I mean, you've made now 3 short films.
Mm-hmm.
So has that fear diminished, or do you still...
Depends on whose money you're using. That's like the most honest answer.
That's the greatest answer.
I can tell you. So Belle Isle scared the absolute living hell out of me because we fundraised like $12,000 for that movie.
Oh my gosh.
And we did a seed and spark, and I was like, no one's going to donate to our film. Like, I've never made a movie. Why would anyone care? And I was like, if I can do this, and obviously I had a great team that I worked with, and Farrell Huntley was obviously a part of that. I'm like, if I could do this, I can do anything, because I don't believe in myself at all. Like, I don't believe that this is going to happen. Like, no one's going to give us money. Like, and you had to do it in a short period of time. I think they give you like a month.
Oh,
and then if you don't get a certain amount of the total you're asking for, you don't get anything. And so I was like stressed to the max.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, it was terrifying. Tallulah Park, my latest short, I self-financed. And so I wasn't scared, because I was like, I can just do whatever I want. And I don't have all of these donors that I feel held responsible to fulfilling incentives because they make you do that, or like making sure I invite everyone to the screening, and I've got 100 people in my checklist, and making sure that I send them all the emails for all that. It's just it's like so much work.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm doing other things. Like
You're busy.
I'm busy. So it's another job.
Yeah.
So I think, to answer that question, it does get easier, but every film is so different that there's new challenges. But Tallulah Park, I was the most comfortable acting.
Okay.
Like, it kind of felt like breathing. It was really, I just enjoyed it. Like, even though the subject matter and like the themes of the movie are heavier, because that's my taste, I, as Michelle Calloway, enjoyed playing the character of Olivia, and it was fun.
Yeah, it seemed like a fun character to play in that world that you created with Old Jacks as the backdrop, as you said, and the music really brought it alive as well, and it felt like Paris, Texas really inspired it, which is...
I've never seen Paris, Texas.
What?
I know, I'm a horrible person.
No.
I make mood boards for every film that I do, and I did have stills from Paris, Texas on there.
You didn't see the film?
Never seen the movie.
My... What?
I know, I'm like the worst filmmaker ever.
No, I'm just stunned, because
I've never
there's
seen
such
it.
a similarities in the story, and then in the visuals, especially with the coloring in the bar. I mean, you ended the film, I won't spoil it, but I liked it better than the ending of Paris, Texas, for sure, because...
I have to add that to my list.
Yeah. Yes, add it to your list. If you have the Criterion channel, it's on there.
Okay.
It's one of my favorite vendors' films.
I just love the colors, and so I make, like I said, I make mood boards, and I make playlists for every movie that I write.
Wow.
And it helps me get into the feeling of the film and know what's like... They talk about if you're on set, filmmakers will talk about what world are we living in. It's kind of like a set terms, like what world, this world over here, and now we're moving the world over here. I always want to know what world I'm living in, down to the color palette, down to the wardrobe, down to the location. So like, I start with that. So I do build mood boards and playlists.
Does the music also help get into the character as well?
Yeah. Ironically, for Tallulah Park, the opening song, which is a Blood, Sweat, and Tears song, I heard on the radio 5 years ago. I think it was like 5 years ago. And I was driving to Georgia, and I was crossing this bridge, and that song came on. And it sparked the idea.
Oh, wow. Amazing.
Yeah. And so I added it to my playlist, and then that film kind of went on a back burner, and I had a loose idea, and then I was like, I kind of know what I'm doing, but I don't. And then I revisited it, and I was like, oh, I know where she's going, because it's a road trip. Like, she's on a road trip. Spoiler alert, she's on a road trip. I didn't know where she was going. And I just needed to live a little bit more life. And then I had my ending, and then I wrote it in a night. I write fast when I know what I'm writing. But I write really slow when I don't know what I'm writing.
Well, sometimes it does take room to have, like you said, you need to live more. You need to, you had the idea, it just needs to ruminate a little bit longer and
take ideas and put them together. That's sometimes what I end up doing. I'll take two concepts and merge them. I do that a lot. If I can't finish one and I feel like it's fizzled out a little bit and I'm like, I don't have traction, like with Tallulah Park, I then had a different life experience. And I was like, oh, well, let me just like put these together. I'll merge them and then I'll be happy because I'm not abandoning either of them. Because I don't want to abandon someone or an idea.
No,
I want to like bring it forward, but it just needed to change.
And Belle Isle, you wrote super fast, right?
Yeah, that I actually wrote in a night. And I like thought of the movie in my head visually first. And then I like sat down on my living room floor with like my computer and I had just like a bunch of note cards and I had never written a screenplay ever. And a glass of wine for some good inspiration and just wrote it out.
Wow. And you mentioned Memento was part of the inspiration for the film, and it's very nonlinear.
Yeah.
As a massive Nolan fan, I gotta ask if you had the structure in mind when you were writing it, if that was already in the screenplay.
No, so that was actually from our director, Farrell. It was a linear story when I wrote it. She was the one that pulled in the Memento reference and created this nonlinear structure.
Wow.
That was all her.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and the EMDR is because of her as well. I just had the character going to therapy. And she was like, nope, we're going to do EMDR. And I'm like, I don't know what that is, but that sounds cool. And she's like, I have all these visual ideas with the flashlight and it's going to mimic, you know, the flashlight of the police officer. The security officer is going to mimic the flashlight of the therapist and it's going to be great. And I said, yes.
Sounds like a great idea.
Let's do that.
It reminded me specifically the white light and the flashes of Mr. Nobody. It's you haven't seen that? Okay.
I'm the worst interviewer.
No, it's completely fine.
Interviewee ever.
No. It's okay.
No, I'm like Rick Rubin when they're like, do you know how to work a soundboard? No. Do you know how to play an instrument? Not really. So what do you know about music? He's like, not that much. And people are like, well, what are people paying you for? And he's like, I have taste and I believe in that taste. Something like that.
Well, you're an artist.
Yeah. He's like, I am a curator. I have tastes and I'm not afraid to speak when I feel like something is right or wrong. And he's like, that's what people pay me for. And I'm like, Rick, I'm tracking with that.
I respect that.
I respect that because I'm not trying to nerd out over here either too much.
Let's see. I had a question about if you happened to see the film Blow Up.
No.
Okay.
What is Blow Up?
It's a Michelangelo Antonioni film, and I know you've said that your dream is to play a fashion photographer.
Oh.
And you played...
Is it?
Yeah, the main character is a fashion photographer.
Oh, I love that.
And you played a fashion photographer in our mutual friend Michelle Calloway's fashion short film, Southern Glen.
Oh, yeah.
And I was wondering if fashion photography was your initial dream to pursue.
It was. So I wanted to be Annie Leibovitz when I was like young. I was like, I want to be her. I loved the feeling of her photographs and I wanted to be a fashion photographer because I liked the worlds that she created, much like filmmaking. It was like she was creating this world and I was like, I want to live in that world and I want to be a part of that. So yes, I love playing a photographer in Tallulah Park. She has a camera, so there's always these sort of references to my own life and I love incorporating that. But yes, fashion photography was always something that I was inspired by.
I love seeing that your character had the camera.
Yeah.
I love seeing that you incorporated that. That's so cool.
And the movie, have you seen the movie High Art?
No.
Yeah,
you got me.
I got you. So I've seen some rando movies and they'll come back to me.
Okay.
But essentially, it's a movie that is loosely based on the life of Nan Goldin.
Oh, yeah.
So I love Nan Goldin. I love like Mary Ellen Mark. I love Sally Mann. I love artists like that. And like Nan Goldin was like one of my favorite photographers when I was in college. And she documented a lot of the AIDS epidemic in New York in like the 80s. And she shot with slide film. So everything had this like Technicolor element to it. And she would showcase her work in slideshows. She always inspired me. So this movie is loosely based on her.
Okay.
And it's a cool art film. You might like that.
I'll put it on my list.
I got you a list.
You got me. You got me, yes.
Got you.
I'm happy you got me on one. That's good.
It's a really obscure. Oh, another movie. Have you seen Fur?
You got me again, too.
Yes. Okay. These are both really good art films about photographers. So Diane Arbus is another one of my favorite photographers. Nicole Kidman plays Diane Arbus.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was like not highly marketed. Like it was sort of like kind of this weird, obscure film. And Robert Downey Jr. played one of her subjects. That's all I'm going to say. It's phenomenal. It's so weird. It's so cool. And it's like, I love nerding out on movies about photographers. So
yeah. All right. I have to put those on my list. Yep. You got to add Blow Up because it is visual storytelling. It's fantastic.
Copy that.
And in the film, the main character is driven by instincts and curiosity. Are you driven by these same feelings more so as a photographer than a filmmaker?
Instinct and curiosity. You mean, does one art form propel it versus the other?
Yeah, I was wondering if one propels it more than the other, or maybe they both do in different ways.
Instinct and curiosity. Yeah, for sure. I to me, they're the same. You know, like filmmaking and photography are visual mediums. And I think to me, when I approach something, whether it's a photo or whether it's a film, it's always from curiosity first. And then the instinct kicks in. Because when you're on set or you're out on the street shooting somebody or you're putting something together, that's when your instincts really kick in. You're like, oh, we should do this and then we need to try that. And let me move you over here. The light's better over here. Or if I'm acting, you know, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, I think this would be better like this, or maybe let me try it like this. But it always starts with curiosity first because it's curiosity about the human condition. I mean, that's where I always start from.
So when you're in a production for a film, how much of the film is changed through instincts then and there on set?
Oh, it happens all the time.
Wow.
I think because like filmmaking is such a living, breathing thing and it's so collaborative because you need so many people. You can't be so sure about anything. And I'm the kind of artist that's like, hey, what do you think we should do? Like, I don't ever pretend to know what I'm doing. And Rick Rubin's a lot like that. Like, if you listen to his podcast and you listen to him talk, he's a lot like that too, where he's like, change my mind. Maybe I'm not seeing this in the way that I should. I think black and white thinking can really get you into trouble when it comes to art. And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't have a perspective. You should always know the perspective that you have, and you should always know what world you're living in, as long as you have some parameters. But I like to figure it out sometimes. And I think that's why I love acting so much. It's because it's a form of play.
Yeah. Speaking of those parameters, in photography and even in some film classes, you learn some of the basic rules of the art form, such as framing with the rule of thirds, how much headroom you give your subject. Do you often stick to the rules of photography in your own work, or do you prefer to break the rules?
I'm going to preface this by saying I have never taken a film class in my life.
Really?
How crazy is that?
That's crazy. But there's a lot of overlap with photography and
film. But I think it's funny. Like, I'm like, I've never taken a screenwriting class. I've never taken like a film theory class.
Oh my gosh.
I've never taken, you know, women's film of 1940, whatever the heck.
Yeah.
You know. But yes, I did go to a fine art school for photography, fine art photography. So yes, there I did learn the foundation of framing, composition. I started in black and white photography, and so it trained my eye to see, and it developed my eye, black and white and then color. I am one to love to stay within the framework of what my eye likes to see. I don't like to break things just because I feel like breaking the rules, but because I've never directed something I've been in, I'm always leaving that up to the director to talk to the cinematographer about the framing. But if I were shooting something, you know, like Between Again, the little thing that I did for myself, that's just like a one-woman little 5-minute thing, I picked all the framing and I was very specific about the locations. And you can tell that that's my eye. Whereas with Belle Isle and Tallulah Park, that was up to the discretion of the director to communicate with the cinematographer about the framing that they preferred and vice versa. But I do have a style that I like to see sometimes. But yeah, I'm open, I'm open. It's more the mood of what we're getting across to than just framing.
Yeah.
Or composition.
Because of your photography background, do you ever think about venturing into cinematography, taking on that role?
No, I think I appreciate what cinematographers do, and I know the amount of work that requires, and it's really hard. And it's not that I don't want to do hard things. It's just I want to do hard things that are out of the realm of what I've done before. So to me, acting and writing were kind of this like world that I had never existed in. And so I think that's why I wanted to lean that way versus it would make sense as a photographer to say, well, let me become a cinematographer. But no, I've never had the desire to do that. That's such a that's just crazy. All the lenses, it's just so much.
Oh gosh, the lenses. I try to learn all the lenses stuff, but that's a whole other field.
God bless all of the wonderful cinematographers.
Yes, truly.
I'm going to leave it to them.
And you said you developed your eye in college, but growing up in Iowa, did you have a creative outlet? Were you interested in the arts then?
So I always tell this funny story. It was like my first semester at Columbia in Chicago, and I had to take a 2D art class, and I like suck. Like I can't draw, I cannot paint, and they're like forcing me as a photographer to take this class. And I remember like coming outside the class and screaming at the top of my lungs, "I'm not an artist. I'm a photographer. Why the fuck am I taking this art class?" Like I didn't get it. Like I didn't think of myself as an artist. I was just like, I love looking at things and being curious about things. I don't have this technical technique skill. I'm clicking a button. Yes, I'm making choices and I'm printing, and I started in film, and so there was all of that technical. But when it came to like drawing and painting, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. But college developed that in me. I started to understand, this is how you create a body of work, and you create a perspective, and you have a critique, and you talk about why you're making it and the choices. It was so instinctual at the time I was doing it. I didn't have enough self-critique to know why I was doing it. So the art instructors would have to pull it out of me, or I would just bullshit it and just be like, yeah, of course I made this because of X, Y, and Z, where I was just like, I wanted to do it because I think it's cool. Or like I did this crazy project in college where and I don't know why I did this. I just thought it was fun. I had a bunch of friends, and I would invite them over, and I would take a photograph of them fully clothed and then fully naked in black and white film. And then that was for the project. And I did a self-portrait, and then I did a group of all of us. Same thing. So there was like 15, 20 people.
Oh my gosh.
And then at the end of the photo shoot, we were all naked, and no one wanted to put their clothes back on. We had a party at my apartment fully naked.
Oh my god.
Nothing happened. Like we were like, why would we put our clothes back on? Like I have photographs of people like on my balcony. This is like dating me, but this was probably like 2009, 10. Like having a cigarette on my balcony in like Chicago winter, like fully naked.
Chicago winter?
Yes. It was like the funny, like nobody wanted to put their clothes back on. So I just did because I really found that I love doing like body studies and like nude work. And I just realized that I love observing, like form and shape. And that's really what influenced it. And I was like, I love juxtaposition in my work. Like I can see that now. I still do it to this day. I love contrast. But yeah, I didn't think of myself as an artist. It was something that I had to learn.
Wow.
Yeah.
It seemed like a natural gift from your work.
No,
wow.
I really wasn't naturally inclined as a kid. Like I wasn't somebody who excelled in art classes. I couldn't draw or paint. So I was like, I'm not an artist, because that's all they teach you when you're in elementary and middle school. And you're like, well, if I suck at this and I'm not an artist. I legit was that naive. I didn't have any idea. I just knew I liked taking photos. And I started taking pictures when I was like 8. And I had a bunch of pets. And I was like, let me just take photos of my animals. And then I took a darkroom class in high school and I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, I'm into this. I love this. And that's when I made the choice. And then it started to evolve from there. But no, I did not consider myself an artist whatsoever.
But I mean, you're right. When you're younger and it's kid, it's always drawing. It's art.
Instinctual. Like, my art became instinctual, like, early on. But yeah, it was drawing and painting that I thought made you an artist, not a photographer or filmmaker.
Yeah. They don't teach you those mediums that young, which is a shame. But I'm happy you did get into photography at 8 years old. That's still pretty young.
Yeah, it was super young. My mom had a 35 millimeter camera and I was a lonely kid. And so I would take photos of my pets and you have to wait for what photographers call the decisive moment.
Yeah.
And I liked that. I liked having to wait for things and it passed the time.
Do you keep that patience and you will be patient enough to wait for the decisive moment, and whether it be film, photography, and all art forms?
Yeah, I know when it's right and I know when it's not right. And when I'm writing or I have an idea, I can't write if it's not flushed. Sometimes I have to wait for timing, like divine timing. Like even when it comes to making a movie, sometimes you make movies and you're like, oh, okay, like we're going to do fundraising and pre-production and blah, 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 blah. Because I've worked on a bunch of other projects too that I haven't written. So like I have experience in that way. But, there's a traditional roadmap for filmmaking. But like sometimes like with Tallulah Park, we were just like, okay, we're ready. Let's go. Let's make it. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm paying for this. And we just did it. Like, I think sometimes movies have to be made the moment they're made and you can't wait. Like, there's something about like the art gods. I don't know what it is. It's like some like divine guidance. And you're like, we're making this now.
Wow. So you just went right into Tallulah Park. That was...
Yeah, pre-production 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
Whoa. Wow. Okay. I didn't know it was that quick.
Yeah.
There was a point where I was hoping to work on it, but I lived too far, which was such a shame because I would have loved to have been
It's hard.
on that.
It's a hard drive. Everything we shot in Jacksonville.
So you had mentioned some of the other projects you've been a part of, and you've really been working in the industry since you got out of college, which is incredible in itself. And one of your first jobs was on the set of the TV movie Megafault.
I love that you pulled that out.
I do my research,
I love you for that.
Which happened to, unfortunately, be one of Brittany Murphy's last films.
Yes. Wow. I love that. Okay. I'm so excited we get to talk about that.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
So, being the still photographer on set, did you ever get a chance to chat with her?
I did. And she was very nice. She was very, very nice, but I knew something was wrong. And I've never talked about this. Like, no one's ever asked me about this. I met her husband, who was there as well, Simon Monjack, and her mother was also there. And if you've watched any of these documentaries, like, there's weird connections with all of that. And they were all there. And there was a day that I was supposed to do I guess what you would call her photo shoot for the movie poster.
Oh, wow.
And so I had like set up the backdrop. We were in like a banquet hall in this hotel. And, otherwise I was shooting on set. But like this was like her photo shoot. And I waited in that room for 8 hours and she never showed up. And I was like, okay, something's amiss. So I told the production, I was like, hey, she never showed up. And they're like, well, we have to get these photos. So I came back the next day, set up, I'm like, I have 15 minutes with her, whatever. She came down and it was her and her husband. And her husband was like, oh, I'm her makeup artist. And I was like, really? Like, it was very strange. And you could just tell, like, you knew what was happening. Like, you could feel it. Like, she was not healthy. He felt very controlling of her. And I just got a weird vibe. And I did the quick photo shoot and she was lovely. And but it was just her, myself, and Simon in a room by ourselves. No one else was there.
Wow.
I've like never told anyone this story.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And there was like other things that happened on set where you just kind of knew like something was amiss. Like I felt for her and I could just tell that she wasn't in her best health. And so when she died, it didn't surprise me in the least.
She must have passed away not long after
it was like
production.
6 months, because I moved to LA after we shot that movie. And then my boyfriend at the time, we were hanging out and he was like on his phone and was like reading the news and he was like, Michelle. And I was like, what? And he's like, Brittany Murphy died. And I was like, what? Like I said, I knew that was like, I could have called that. Like,
Wow.
there was just too many weird things that happened. And you could just tell her, like you could just tell she was heavily medicated. Like she was out of it, like totally out of it. And I was like, I felt bad for her because this was a B movie. This was a low budget. Like she did not need to be doing this.
Yeah.
And you could tell like she was towards the end of not her career, but she was in a career slump. Like she wasn't hitting these like big Hollywood A-list movies. She's doing this made for TV, you know, mega fault movie.
Yeah. This was like 10 years after Girl Interrupted.
Yeah, this is like a disaster movie. That's another one, Girl Interrupted. Like, put that on my list. Love that movie.
You have seen that movie?
I've seen it so many times.
Because I think you have
Yes.
posted like
Love
a
that
picture of
movie.
Angelina Jolie on your story before, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
Angelina's one of my favorites
I
ever.
love Girl Interrupted, and she was so fantastic in that film.
Blows you away.
I think Brittany Murphy was a very underrated actress. I think
Yeah.
there were times where you're like, oh, she's just a pretty blonde. But like you watch Girl Interrupted and you're like, there's something really unique about her.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I watched Ramen Girl recently. Have you seen that?
Got me again.
Wow. She goes to Japan and she works in a ramen shop.
I haven't even heard about this.
Yeah, it's a great movie. But like, that's another one where I was like, okay, Brittany, you go, girl.
I know everyone loves her in Uptown Girls, but that's another one I haven't seen.
That's a good movie. I mean, it's like what you would think, like commercially focused.
Yeah. I'm pretty, that's
Interesting.
very interesting, yes. So since you lived in LA and you were very involved in both the art and film scene, I imagine you crossed paths with a few celebrities. Is there a memory that
Yeah.
comes to mind when I ask, who were you most starstruck to meet?
Oh my God, I love this question.
Yeah.
Okay, so so it was Diane Keaton.
Oh my,
Hands down.
okay. Did
Hands
not
down.
expect that legendary. Okay.
I like lost my shit because a huge fan
Yeah.
of Diane Keaton and grew up watching her. And I was at a party and she was there and she was exactly what you think she is.
Yes.
The best.
The fashion, I bet, was
Full
amazing.
of life. Her fashion was on point. She was everything you wanted her to be and more, and her energy was infectious. She lived in her own world and she did not care. She just was living it up. Love her.
Amazing. Oh my gosh. What a legend.
Jamie Lee Curtis is probably the other
Jamie
one.
Lee Whoa.
We had like a conversation and she was really sweet. Like she's like one of the most normal people. Like she's so humble. Like you see her in interviews and she's always trying to like build up everyone else. Like
Yeah.
I've seen her in interviews with Pamela Anderson.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just like she was just like normal. Like didn't realize who she was. She's cool.
Yeah.
Those are, I guess, probably, I mean, there's more, but those are a few that I loved.
So you created Lula Films, your own production company. How long did it take for you to create and then succeed in the opportunities that you created under this production company?
So when I started it, I just picked the name and I hadn't incorporated it. I just was like, hey, I think I'm starting to write movies and I think I'm getting into this area, but I'm still like I'm running another business and I'm a single mom and I'm doing all this other stuff. But I needed to have somewhere to put my work under. And so I just kind of grabbed the domain, grabbed the Instagram handle, do what you do as like a startup. I have a like background in startup. So like I get how entrepreneurs think. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to get all this stuff in the hopes that like one day I'll like incorporate this. And so when I started writing shorts and doing all that, I was like, well, at least I'm building like a portfolio, a body of work. And if I write something else and somebody wants to make it, I at least can have my production company's name attached to it. So I was retaining some ownership over the work. Because I would never really want to write something that I wasn't a part of. Like, I'm not that kind of writer, like an Aaron Sorkin. Like, he's just writing.
Yeah.
Like, he's just a writer.
He stays writing.
He's not making the movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, I want to write it to make the movie. So I kind of had, like, the foresight to do that. And then finally decided the end of 2024 to officially turn it into an LLC and kind of get everything, because it wasn't a profitable company. I was just making movies with my own money or other people's, donations on Seed and Spark. So I wasn't thinking about it in terms of a business, but I was like, hey, at some point in time, I want to like move some money through this thing and hopefully do a project that pays me something.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it happened.
I really respect you have your own, to make your own production company, to make your own jobs through opportunities.
Yeah,
really
you make your
incredible.
own jobs. Like if you're an entrepreneur, you know that. It's like you never sit by the phone and wait for somebody to give you a job. You make your own jobs.
Yeah.
And so I learned that, running my own business, and my former partner worked in tech, and we worked on a lot of startups together when we were in LA. And I really learned that. I learned that like you just make your own opportunities. And if you're passionate about it, it'll work out.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you'll find the right people, you'll get the right money, you'll get financing, you'll get seed money, you'll get an investor. Yeah. So I just kind of always had that mindset. And I was like, even though this is art and this is like my own, creative expression and all, but I still always thought about it as a business.
Yeah.
Because why would I do it if I didn't allow room for growth?
Absolutely.
And so I always thought about it in the terms of growth. So I was like, even if this isn't a real thing right now, it may be. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like I may sell a script and then it's like, okay, this is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just go in that direction. Or I work on a film that's pays me a certain amount of money that I can transition.
Yeah. So when moving from LA to Jacksonville, the amount of opportunities must have diminished. Was that tough to move away from kind of like the capital?
Yeah, I moved for personal reasons at the time, and my career was really taking off in photography. I was working a little bit in film right when I moved to LA, but I did not want to become a still photographer and part of the local 600 union. That just was not a track that seemed fun to me, even though in college I worked on a lot of film sets. And that's really where I got my start doing still photography. But I was like, I want to freelance. Like, I want to be more creative. I don't want to just shoot other people's movies for the rest of my life. So, and those hours suck. Yeah. It's a lot of
16-hour days.
Oh my God. When I worked for the production company in LA, when I first moved there, it's the same production company that produced Megafall. I worked on like 6 or 7 of their features, and like I was getting like $100 a day, like for like 14, like we were getting second lunch.
Oh my God.
Like pizza, we were driving to Lancaster to shoot at some cheap it was just, I was like, whoa, like in your 20s, it's fun.
Yeah.
But I was like, there's not a lot of longevity doing this forever. But it's literally where I learned like filmmaking, because they were making a feature a month.
That's wild.
We were shooting like 21 days for a feature, and the budgets were like low. Like it was, at the time, it was probably like 150, 300K, something like that. Like the one in Iowa, Megafault with Brittany Murphy, that was their biggest budget to date when we did that.
In Iowa, who would have thought?
Because we had a tax incentive. Wake up, Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Florida, are you listening?
We're talking to you, girl. Mm-hmm. Come on, we need that. So yeah, at the time, Iowa had one. So that's why they came there. But when I transitioned out of film or still photography into, more commercial photography, I was working a lot. And I had my son, and I was like, when I was pregnant, I was like, I'm going to just build my portfolio. And then when I have him, like, I'll be able to submit my work. And I was doing a lot of really wonderful things. And I was so sad to leave. And yes, I came to Jacksonville and I cried every day for like 6 months. I was so sad. Like, I thought, I have a great portfolio. Of course they're going to hire me.
Yeah.
Crickets. Because I wasn't a part of the community. No one knew who I was. And they really didn't give a shit that I had a good book. They were just like, we don't know you. Who are you?
Oh, you had to get into the community.
It was almost like I was too experienced is what it felt like. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And partially true, because I also wasn't willing to work for like dirt either.
Sure.
I was like, I have a caliber of work. I want to provide that to the community. But I also realized that like we really undervalue photographers here.
Yeah.
And it maybe has changed because I don't do as much photography work. I still do. I still shoot. But I'm not in that world, so I don't know what the market rate is for everything, but I still believed that like we were behind.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were very behind for the size of the city.
Yeah.
In the, like there's over 1 million people that live here. Like this isn't some rinky dinky little town.
No. And we've been growing.
Yeah.
And we've been wanting the film to
Yeah.
increase around here, more productions around here.
Exactly. Yeah.
So between again, we've talked a little bit about it, but I really enjoyed it. I know, as you said, it's like 5 minutes. It's more visual, less dialogue, but the title is perfect and absolutely captivating when how you portray the true depth of the mind and a sort of mental purgatory of a daze while also a vital need for solitude visually, and I imagine it provoked a lot of varied, resonant interpretations. How crucial is solitude both personally and in your creative process?
Clearly it's a theme. I think I pull in myself into every piece that I do, and it's always me exploring a part of myself that I don't fully understand, and it's usually based on trauma or something heavy that I'm processing at that time, and that takes a lot of solitude. And I have to go inward in order to like solve some of those problems, and the work is helping me solve some of those problems. That's why I make it. But between again, which is so funny, I've never talked about it ever. I literally made it and I only watched it once. Like I can't even, it's too personal. It's too weird. Not weird, but it's just like, I make it and I just like put it out and I was like, okay, I'm done with this. And I don't revisit. It's hard for me to revisit work sometimes because I remember where I was at the time that I made it. And I was in a huge depressive phase when I made that piece. And I was just figuring out how to use film to record like myself, and then the voiceover, there's no dialogue, it's just this woman sort of moving through this day. But I wrote that poem, that voiceover, and it just came out. It just was like, okay, this is coming out. And then I realized like that was sort of the start of writing. I was like, oh, I think that was the beginning of writing for me, was that little piece. But yes, I spend a lot of time alone. I love people. Yeah. Clearly. But I'm an introvert at heart. And I think when people meet me, they don't think that. They're like, oh, you're so expressive and you're so, you're really great at communication and you're animated. Yeah, I am. But I had to learn how to be that way. It's not like it came like naturally. Learning to be more animated, to be more expressive when you're naturally introverted. Did that come at the same time that you were shifting from behind the camera to in front of the camera? Yeah. I think that tracks, because when I took my first acting class, it was here in Jacksonville, and it was after I watched an interview with Nicole Kidman about Big Little Lies. Oh, great show. And she said something that just stuck in me, and it was like, sometimes from our greatest fear comes our greatest success, or something like that. And I don't know, it triggered the right thing in me, and I was like, what's the biggest fear? And I was like, it's being seen, like literally. And so I signed up for an acting class, and I think like I hated doing that work, and I got through it, but I was like, okay, universe, cool, thank you, I did that, moving on back to my old life, like the hero's journey. It was like, okay, cool, I'm going back. We're not going into act 2. We're going back to act 1. Yes. Yeah. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. Like, this isn't happening. Rewind to the title cards. Let's go backwards. But it was the curiosity that kept me going. It was like this fire, this tiny, tiny little fire that kept going inside of me that was like, no, you're not done. You need to keep going. So I kept exploring other opportunities, other classes. And then over time, you become that person, and you don't really realize how you get there, but you're all of a sudden there, and you're like, well, I don't remember how I used to be. But yeah, I think that's really when it switched. Wow. Nicole Kidman's a theme. Is she one of your very favorite actresses? So the thing that I like about Nicole is I don't think she's a super dynamic, as far as like she plays all these crazy roles that are super different and like a Meryl Streep. Right. I don't see her in the same light as a Meryl Streep, but what I do like about Nicole Kidman, because I was thinking about this the other day, because she's not like your typical girl next door beauty. There's like something sort of ethereal about her. She's tall, she has long limbs, and there's like a quality that she has. And her roles are usually kind of more introverted. And I think that's why I like her. And also because I realize there's a certain mystery to her.
Yeah.
And I think I realize I like that. Like, I like artists that have a type of mystery where they're not telling you everything. And like, I never feel like she's trying to sell me something.
Yeah.
Like, there's some actors I watch, I'm like, you're selling me this.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like she's just kind of being. And whether that's interesting or not, sometimes it is, sometimes it's not, depending on the script. But there's something about her that makes you want to watch her.
Yeah. She's also a genuine artist, and with Baby Girl as the best example, she will go any limit. There's no limit for her. And she's one of the biggest stars, and she has been for who knows how long, decades, and rightfully so.
And she's still making work, which any actress at her age doesn't need to work.
Yeah.
But she's still working. And I love that about her. I'm like, you go, girl, with your bad self.
Yeah, and she said she's doing that because she can get projects funded. She can get people hired, which
she
is
has a production
incredibly
company.
admirable.
That's why.
Yeah.
Any good actor has their own production company. That's why I started doing that, because I was like, well, I'm so new to this and I'm in my 30s, and no actor starts in their 30s, and I'm already halfway done according to like old, you know what I mean?
You
Like,
can't think like that.
but that's the old way of thinking.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, cool. And I also live in Jacksonville, so there's not like a ton of opportunities around here. So I'm just going to write my own roles. I'm just going to hire myself.
Yeah.
And that's why I started doing it, to be honest.
Yeah, you have to create your own creative outlets, your own opportunities. That's important, and that's something I've been hoping, like with this podcast, hoping to create my own opportunities within film. And it can be hard because we're not a major filmmaking city just yet.
Yeah.
It would be nice if we can get more opportunities, but hopefully with time.
Well, I appreciate platforms like these because you're able to communicate with people. And I think it also helps everyone else to understand what is happening, because we don't always have the opportunities to share.
Right. Yes, absolutely. Belle Isle is absolutely brilliant. I've seen it 4 or 5 times, and it's a challenging but intriguing film to attempt to analyze.
Mm-hmm.
And we have talked about Richard Avedon, about the inner self to reveal through the exterior. And both Between Again and Belle Isle very much share that theme in its experimental format.
Mm-hmm.
You have said that these films are hard to watch but healing, and I do wonder if they provide a closure, because some of these lines, like breakdowns, are actually breakthroughs. It's terrifying and liberating at the same time. And, well, this is a little different, but it's a line that really stuck out, is I don't remember a time where I felt fully alive. Have people come up to you sharing their personal resonance to the film?
Yeah. And I think to talk about, you know, those lines that you just mentioned, those were all things that were actually said. Like, the breakdowns or breakthroughs. My therapist said that to me. Like, that actually happened. And a lot of the things I wrote in Belle Isle were actual conversations that I had. So it was extremely personal. I haven't had as many people come up to me, but I have had people who have done EMDR therapy, which is one of the main themes of Belle Isle, talk about their experience and how much it's helped them. So I do feel connected to the viewer in that way, because they are able to take from our character Jessica and, you know, view her story through their own lens as well.
Mm-hmm. I think it has quite a broad meaning, and again, varied resonance with many people. As I mentioned, you made your feature film debut in the new film Greek Mothers Never Die. Was starring in a comedy and doing improv a challenge that you were maybe nervous or excited to tackle?
That's so funny, because I met with the director, Rachel, this week, and we were catching up. She lives in Amelia Island, and the whole movie was shot on the island.
Ah.
Yeah, and she wrote and directed and starred in it, which is hats off to her.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about that very thing, where I was like, I said, Rachel, I've never been in a comedy. She was like, what? Michelle, she's French. Michelle, what? And I'm like, no, I've never been in a comedy. And it was so loose, because she just kind of was like, okay, Michelle, like, okay, now we're going to just do this. And then, okay, now just try that. And she was just like throwing lines at me. And I've never done improv. And I'm like, I'm a Virgo. Does that like paint a picture? Like,
I thought you were a Libra because our birthdays are close.
I'm Virgo Libra on the cusp. I'm the 22nd of September.
25th.
Yeah. So I'm very much like, there's a part of me that's like, I need structure. But that's what I love about acting, is because it pushes me outside my comfort zone. And I loved it. I thought it was so fun. And I'm like, oh my God, movie making can be fun. And I don't have to like go to dark places. Like, this is really great. And yeah, it was a wonderful experience. And she threw me in last minute.
Oh.
I didn't even audition. She just found me on Instagram and was like, I think I have an idea and I want to add you in, and this is what we're going to do. And I just was game. I said, sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Amazing.
Yeah. So we're actually, I get to see it for the first time at the Central Florida Film Festival, which is happening the 27th.
Oh
I
my
believe.
God.
Yes. So I get to travel down to Orlando and watch the film on the big screen.
That's exciting.
Sorry, let me rephrase. It's Saturday, the 25th. It's in Mount Dora. So Central Florida Film Festival. There will be a screening of Greek Mothers Never Die. So I get to see it.
That's so...
In Florida.
Yeah, in Florida. Amazing.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's funny. It's a comedy. It's like, it's not like anything I do, but that's what's fun about it.
Yeah.
You know, do a comedy. There's like a famous quote that, who was it? It was Jessica Lange, who her favorite actress was Kim Stanley. She did the movie The Goddess, I believe, and she talks specifically about that movie. Like, every time I need to remember how to be a good actress, I just watch The Goddess, and then I remember. And I guess after she did Frances, have you seen that movie?
Mike, what is happening to me today?
Frances. Yeah, I know. I have weird, like, I may not know the normal ones, but I know like weird ones. So Frances was a movie that Jessica Lange did when she was young, and then Kim Stanley gave her the advice after she did Frances, because that was a heavy movie. She said, do a comedy. Do a comedy.
Yeah.
And then she did Tootsie.
Oh, wow.
And then she won the Academy Award for Tootsie because she, okay, Frances, when you watch it, you'll be like, yes, she should have deserved the Academy Award for Best Actress for this movie. Except there's a tiny little caveat. Meryl Streep also came out with this small, tiny movie that same year called, drumroll please, Sophie's Choice.
Oh.
So there was like no way. And you're just like, why didn't they wait to put that movie out? They should have held on to it for a year. She would have won. But she didn't win until the 90s when she won for Blue Sky. You probably haven't seen that either.
Damn, what's happening?
Look at me.
See, you keep upping me. I think you're winning at the moment.
And I'm like, I'm not a cinephile.
Yeah.
I just know really weird, random movies with actresses that I like.
I feel I'm out of... This is an experience that I've never quite had before.
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
Glad I could help.
Let's see. Okay. But back to Greek Mothers Never Die. So, how many days were you on set for since you came in sort of last minute?
I think 3 days.
Oh.
I had a really small role. I sort of played the mean girl. I'm not really the mean girl, but the main character has like a crush on this guy, and she's sort of like the ugly duckling. We'll just play that, right? And I'm like the hot girl whose hair is done and makeup is done, and she's in like slutty clothes, which I've never played that role either. And Rachel was like, that's what I want you to do. And I was like, okay, cool. It was really fun because I've never played a character like that.
Yeah.
And I don't have like scenes where I'm being mean to the other female character, but I'm just taking the attention away from the male character.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good role.
I'm that girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, but very, very, very small part. Like it was something like she added in, like she was like, I need this contrast. So I need you to come do that. And I was like, great, let's do this.
Tallulah Park, your latest short in which you wrote, produced, and starred in. Congratulations on your new film. Very exciting.
Thank you.
And also, forgot to mention at the beginning, I wanted to go quick, but congratulations on also being the Cultural Council of Greater Jacksonville partnered with the City of Jacksonville
Yeah.
grant recipient.
Yes, thank you. This is kind of unprecedented for the City of Jacksonville. They gave 60 artists $10,000 artist grants. So I think it's got to be the biggest amount that they've put towards individual artists. So I was happy to receive one.
That's the very big deal. That's
Yes.
very exciting.
Yes.
So Tallulah Park, the most basic question I know. What is the film about?
I know. I'm like, I should have prepped this question. Well, Tallulah Park is a real place, just so you know, in Jacksonville. It is about one woman's exploration of her own past trauma and how we can meet people in our lives that change the trajectory of our path. And I really wanted to explore that because that happened to me in my personal life. And I just wanted to explore that on film. There's a lot of metaphors in the film, but I would say one of the biggest is focused on exploring our inner child. So when and if you watch the film, that may resonate a little bit more. But yeah, it's about making a choice and how every choice that we make can lead us to a different destination. And, you know, I think that it has a happy ending. You know, I wanted Tallulah Park to have a happy ending, and it definitely does. So it feels very different than Belle Isle, but it still has the same themes of like exploring, you know, trauma and how that shapes people and how our decisions hold us back and how other people can influence those decisions and how it puts us on a new trajectory. I don't know. I always love themes of nostalgia. And so I think that's because of my photography background and because I started in analog photography. But this film is set in present day, but it definitely has themes of old Florida for sure, with the coloring, color grading, and the costuming and the locations. I wanted it to feel like it was real.
Yeah.
Shot here, you know? I've never explored Jacksonville like that. Belle Isle technically is supposed to be Detroit, Michigan.
Yeah.
And Belle Isle is a place in Detroit. So we were faking Jacksonville as Detroit.
Yeah, I was going to ask the challenges that go into kind of recreating Detroit while filming in Jacksonville.
It was mainly just making sure it felt like a city. So like some of the locations that we picked, like the Union, where the boxing scenes take place in Belle Isle, it's like gritty and it's this warehouse and she goes up and down these like steel staircases and there's like clunking sounds. And she's, you know, leaving this house, but it kind of feels like it could be a second story flat like in Chicago, you know, because I used to live in something kind of like that. And then we put her on the train, so you feel like, oh, she's on public transportation and she works at this diner. You know, I think it was like the locations needed to feel like they were a city. Where with Tallulah Park, we're shooting at a bar, country bar, and we're shooting at a motel that's on like Phillips Highway, and we're shooting all of our aerial shots north of the airport, you know, like out there and like where it's real country.
Yeah.
And so it was mainly about the location scouting. And I picked all the locations for Tallulah Park based on what they looked like. Because, again, I have a taste that I like. And so even though I'm the writer and the actress, I'm like, well, no, I also have a visual taste and I want it to look like this.
Well, you produced the film too,
Yeah,
right?
so I was like very adamant on knowing what I was very adamant on getting locations that I wanted, and I was willing to pay for those locations because, as many filmmakers know, locations can really make or break a shot or a scene, and it sells the story better. It sells the world that we're living in. And then obviously production design. Our production designer, Yosa, like she crushed it. Like I've worked with production designers before, but there was like some of these locations, like the bar, there was not a bottle on that. Like there was not one piece of alcohol in that entire bar, and we had to make the whole bar. And I like called all my friends and posted on social, and like Taverna donated and Josephine's donated, and they gave me all their liquor bottles from the end of the night. And then she's in there mixing them with food coloring and Dr. Pepper and like making them look like the right color. It was crazy.
That's what you do for independent filmmaking, right?
Oh my God, it was wild. Like those types of details that when people watch a movie, they would never think about. You're like, how did they make the bar look like that? Well, let me tell you.
A lot of manual work, a lot of hard work.
A lot of hard work, a lot of filling bottles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Filling bottles, yeah. What is your personal connection to the real Tallulah Park in Jacksonville?
That is a story I'll never tell.
Ah, okay. All right.
But I love the question.
Okay. All right. I respect it.
To be determined. I am working on a feature script, and there may be themes of Tallulah in that film as well. So you may learn more.
Okay.
Or not. I have to keep some secrets.
Of course.
But I have one secret I will tell.
Okay.
Okay. The audience can't see this, but I'm going to show her right now.
No way.
I have Tallulah tattooed on my ribcage.
Whoa.
Can you see it?
Did you get that before filming or?
No, after we wrapped.
Oh.
I went and got it done. And I was like, okay, we're getting it tattooed.
I love that.
Yep.
Well, I was going to ask, since both Belle Isle and Tallulah Park are named after places,
right,
if this is a part of a series.
So that's funny, and I thought about that today. I realized that both the movies that I've made are named after parks. Not intentional. Belle Isle's working title was Broken Body. And obviously working titles are just sort of working titles, but it was just kind of what came out. Broken Body. And Farrell Huntley, our director, was like, I think we need to change the title. And I was like, okay, cool. What do you think? Again, I'm like, cool, whatever you want. Like, I'm not like married to anything I really do. I'm just trying to express. And she was like, well, what were your nicknames as a little girl? And I was like, well, like Shell Belle, Shelly Belly, Michelle My Belle. And she was like, oh, interesting. Okay. And she found Belle Isle like on a map and was like, we're calling it Belle Isle. And she just like picked it. And because I told her I wanted it to be like in the Rust Belt, the Midwest, obviously to, my Midwest roots, I wanted it to feel like it was like Chicago or Detroit or something like that. So it worked out perfectly because Belle Isle is a real place in Michigan, in Detroit. And then Tallulah Park is also a real place here in Jacksonville, Florida. So to answer that question, I realize that place is a theme in my work. I am heavily influenced by place. And I think it's because of the people that I meet in that place. And so I'm always like, what does this place feel like? What is the landscape? Even when I moved to LA, I felt like I was home. Like I had this overwhelming sense of like peace and like, I felt expansive for like the first time, because I lived in Iowa and then I'd moved to Chicago for college. And then I moved home for a little bit and then I moved out to the West Coast and I'd never been there. And I remember like feeling so invigorated by the energy of the city. And maybe that's because I'm an empath, or maybe that's because I have ADD, who knows? Like, I feel the feels.
Yeah.
So I think I am affected by where I live, positively and negatively. LA was very positive. Jacksonville has been more negative in a way. Not to say, I'm not saying that I haven't done amazing things since I've been here. I wouldn't be making movies if I wasn't in Jacksonville. But I mean, as far as the personal things I've navigated within each city, I've navigated a lot of hard shit in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
So I do think I tend to think about the place that I'm in when I'm making a body of work, and it's reflected, in that way.
Let's see.
That was a really good question.
Oh, thank you.
Like, you have really good questions.
Thank you. I want it to be good.
You do your homework, girl. Because I'm like, we're just a little old indie filmmaker over here. Like, and you just pulled stuff out.
Well, you've done a lot of work.
I've done a lot of things in my life.
Yeah.
Yes. This feels new still, but yes, I've done a lot of things. So yes, I've lived like many lives. I'm like a cat. I've lived like 9 lives already.
Yeah. I love that. Well, I think that's part of the artistic evolution, the journey. You get into one thing, you get into something else, and you're ever evolving.
I think that's right. And I do think I have found my last job.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I think this will carry me through because I've done a lot of things outside of just art making, commercial work. And I run a marketing agency that helps me finance things that I do. And so I understand how to generate revenue when you need to make art, and the art isn't like the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like I have evolved to the point where I have found the thing that I want to do. And I'm just chipping away. Like there's no like 10-year goal, but I think you have to have, what do they say? You have to have a hard focus on the present and a soft focus on the future. Something like that.
Oh, that's
It's
so
like you have to know where you are and what you're doing, but you need to have a soft focus on where you're going. But if you flip those around, it doesn't work because you're just trying to get to that thing and you're missing everything in between, and you're like forcing an outcome, or you're not going down this door because you're like, no, this isn't what I'm doing and I need to focus, and like our brains get really hyper focused when we do that. So I've learned, for me personally, I just slowly chip away at it, and I'm always moving. I may not be moving fast, but I'm consistent and I'm moving forward. And I realize for me as an artist and somebody who probably does have like some sort of neurodivergent brain, I'm sure I do, that's what works for me. And like being highly organized and treating it like a business.
Absolutely.
Like
yes.
I've got project management software. I've got spreadsheets that run, like I'm organized because it is a business. And even though it's creative and it's fun, you need to have your shit together too.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
Because one thing builds on the next, and you don't want to get so far into something and you're like, oh, I need to go back and like get everything together and, build my systems and get my folders in order. And, it's so much information to try to manage. Like producing a film is bananas. It's so much information.
I mean, even directing and acting in a film is already a lot, and writing, and it's a lot of roles on one production. It's usually people will either do one, or even if they do two, like people, I think Halle Berry was like, I'm never acting and directing in a film ever again.
Yeah, I never want to do that. But I think really like it's because I was a photographer for so long, and I was a commercial photographer. So I was like in charge. Like I had to be comfortable telling people what to do and like being the boss. Like I had to tell everyone, like, this is what we're doing. No, we're going to move this way, and the lighting needs to go that way. And, I think that's what informed it, because I'm used to wearing so many hats. And even in startup culture and entrepreneurship, which I worked as a creative director for like a couple different startups when I lived in LA, because, I was a visual person. So I was like, yeah, I'll do our branding and our graphics, and I'll set our tone, and I'll do all the things and set up our social medias and blah, blah, blah. I learned a lot, because I learned like when you're starting a company, there's like 4 people. Like you have like your CEO, you have your CTO, you maybe have a CMO, and then you have probably like some developers that you're paying to like build whatever app or thing you're building, and then like one creative person. And you are just like figuring it out. Like you are hustle. And then you're like trying to find that next investor, and you're trying to get to that next round of fundraising. And you're just like, I think that's probably why, because I'm so used to doing so many things.
Yeah.
That it doesn't seem hard.
That describes me so well, actually. Like I've always been, even in high school with projects, working with the TV news, my group would Slack, and I would do all the roles. And I, like even this, like I do everything. I do graphics, editing. Like it's a lot.
Hard. Trust me.
It's a lot.
Trust me. I know.
I feel so seen just listening to you talk about this, because it's like, it's a lot to do all the creative stuff as one person in such a small company. Even that being the only creative there, it's a lot, and it can be overwhelming.
But when you get older, maturity comes with realizing where you can delegate. And a lot of times we get fearful of delegating because we're like, oh, it's going to cost me money, and I don't have money. But what I've learned is time is money, because it is. And the older you get, the more you value your time. And I have learned that I only do things that I know that I'm good at. And if I'm not good at it, I pay someone else to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, that's exactly. Tarantino does the same.
Yeah. I'm like, I know my bandwidth of influence, or like whatever. It's like some cheesy thing like that. But I'm like, yeah, I believe in that. Like, do not waste time doing things that you don't want to do. And as an artist or creative person, if you guys are listening, hire that studio manager. Like, I know that you're like, I don't have the money, but they're going to free up time. Yeah. And they're going to do the things you don't want to do, because so many artists are too busy making work that they don't have time to market it. My background's in marketing. So like I got good at it.
Yeah.
And you can't make a movie if you don't market it.
That's true.
And I realized that I needed to be good at marketing. And so when I got Belle Isle going in the festival circuit, I was like, okay, I'm doing the Facebook, I'm doing the Instagram, I'm making the graphics, I'm getting the laurels, I'm putting them on screenshots of the film. And, you know, I'm setting all of this out and I'm making people feel involved. And when we get accepted, I'm posting about it. You know, I wanted people to feel involved in the process and then make them feel excited about what we were doing. Not just like, we took your money, we made the film, see you later. Goodbye.
See ya. Yeah.
Like, you know, I don't know. I guess I always say that's like my Midwest roots. Like there's a certain like work ethic that is kind of ingrained in me. And also like a humility and like a responsible, like I feel responsible sometimes to people, and maybe I shouldn't feel as responsible as I do, but like I want to take care of people. And if people give me something, like I want them to feel they got value out of that.
Of course. Yeah. You're talking about like delegating when it's your own thing. It must be hard to delegate when it's like you have the control over your own project. It's hard to sometimes delegate like, oh, you can do this, when it's like, this is yours.
I've never felt like that.
Really?
I don't know why. And it's probably like my own imposter syndrome, and probably a part of me that feels like I suck and I don't know what I'm doing. There's probably a part of me, but I love that about me because it keeps me humble.
Yes. That's a good quality to have.
Literally. Because I'm like, okay, cool. You got a better idea? Like, that's fine. You know, I did covet the writing at the beginning and I didn't want people to read it. So there was a part of me that was fearful of people picking apart my scripts.
Right. So
there was a period of time where I was like, I want zero influence on the script itself. Not to say Belle Isle didn't have influence, because it did. We did a lot of rewrites for that with Farrell. But I don't let like a lot of people read it.
Yeah.
Because I also think there's a certain part of you that has to believe what you're doing, and our first instincts are usually the best. And I'm like, if I listen to too many people tell me their opinions, then this whole thing will become not mine anymore.
Yeah.
And it's too personal for that to happen. Now, say I had some obscure idea that had nothing to do with my personal life and it was just this random Hollywood blockbuster concept. Sure. Send it to a bunch of people, have them pick it apart, make it, because it was to make money. You know, they're like, oh, we need to fix the structure so that this is more financially viable, right, to sell.
Yeah.
Cool. But when it's my work and it's personal and it's like I'm putting myself in this role and I'm essentially playing a version of myself, yeah, there was a part of me that was like, no. But when it comes to like the director and on set, I'm open. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Let's do it. Like, I'm open in that regard. But I'm not someone that likes to let people read my work. I think that's an insecurity of mine. But now I think moving forward, as I'm writing a feature, I'll have to let people read it because I really want it to be good. And there's just so much more at stake.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's changing. It's getting better.
Yeah. That's a very healthy way to look at it, especially, I mean, you mentioned time management. You have more free time, less stress on your mind that you can delegate too.
Yeah.
That's a smarter way to go about things.
Right.
Now, I'm not sure how much of Tallulah Park you want to keep under wraps. I do have questions about it.
Sure, I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Okay. So, in the bar scene, Olivia is taking photos of people having a good time with one another. And again, I was happy to see you integrate your love of photography in one of your films.
Yeah.
Does Olivia want to be with the people, or is she comfortable being on the outside?
I think she's definitely comfortable being on the outside, and she, like myself, was using photography to connect with people, because you do see like a soft smile in that moment. And if you really understand like what's about to happen next or what her plans were next, it's sort of ironic that that's how she's behaving.
Interesting. Yeah. When Olivia is reunited with her daughter, Olivia's mother is silent, just watching the reunion. What do you imagine Olivia's relationship with her mother is?
I think her mother is sick and tired of her bullshit.
Yeah. She just seems like she'll do it again. She'll revert back.
She drops her off a lot. And this time it was like any other time. She's a little bit of a hot mess, Olivia. but we like her.
We love her, yeah. Great protagonist, yeah. Similarly to Easy Rider, the first film to use found music, Tallulah Park uses music to help tell the story. The first song you mentioned you would listen to on the radio, sparking the inspiration for the film, but was the rest of the music made for the film?
I will break down all of that. So the
Okay.
very first song was the inspiration for the intro scene, and obviously the irony of that is that there's this young girl singing about death.
Mhm.
So I thought, okay, cool. This is really ironic and I love this, but I have to re-record this. So I have a friend who is a musician and asked him, Rick Nesmith, play the side guitar and sing that little portion.
Ah.
And I love the way it came out because I'm using like Jacksonville musicians to recreate the music. And the other 3 songs in the middle are from an artist named Madison Hughes, who is from Jacksonville. She currently lives in Nashville and she's making a name for herself. She was on The Voice and she is just crushing it up there in Nashville doing her thing. And I just sent her an email and just said, hey, I'm making this movie about Jacksonville. I kind of need some country tunes. What do you got? So she sent me a list to pick from.
Oh, wow.
So we picked those songs. I think there's 3 of them. And then the ending song, which was also sung by Rick Nesmith, and he played guitar on that again. That song I heard after I made the movie. And that song is... What is the name of that song?
I have it in my notes.
Sorry, I'm drawing a blank.
It's okay.
It's at the very end. It's, the Red Clay Strays.
Wanna Be Loved?
Wanna Be Loved, yes. So I found that song later, and when I heard it, it had the texture. It was almost like a war cry is how I heard that song. And it kind of comes towards the end of the movie where, you know, we've kind of reached the climax. We've kind of, you know, the turning point and we're going in the new direction. And I wanted the audience to feel the emotionality of that moment. And so Wanna Be Loved was essentially written by a male, I believe, for a male's perspective, because some of the lyrics hit me really hard, which was, you know, talking about, am I doing enough? Am I working hard enough? And there was sort of like every man I know feels like that, where they're like, they just want to be loved and they want someone to pick up the phone and answer it. And like, they're always worried about like, am I doing enough? Am I producing enough? And I don't know, there's like something about that just stuck with me. And so for Olivia's character, I thought, you know, this just feels like the right time to put this song in here, because at the end of the day, like, she just wants to be loved and she doesn't know how to let people love her. And she's isolated because of her past. And that song said a lot that I needed to say. So this was the first time that I've chosen the music for a film. And I was at the recording sessions when we were recording this, and I was like giving Rick notes on performance, like Rick Rubin, seriously. And I was like, hey, I don't know anything about music, but I know what I like and I know what I don't like and I know what I feel and I know what I don't feel. And so like, please take everything I say with a grain of salt, because I'm not trying to tell you I know more than you. I'm just going to tell you what I feel. And there were times where I was like, you know, what if we tried that line this way? And then we would do it. And then I would like turn into a little kid. And I'm like, oh my God, that was it. That was it. But like, I didn't have the language because I don't speak musician language, but we figured it out. And it was so fun. Like, I've never been a part of that process and I loved it. And even the director, David Borges directed Tallulah Park, and we have not mentioned him yet. So shout out to David. Amazing, amazing director, collaborator, friend of mine. He was the one that said, you did a great job with the music.
Wow.
And I was like, I take that as a compliment because he's a musician. Like, his background is in music. He's amazing. And I was just like, I think there's something to this. I think there's something to me using music and understanding its place in film, especially in indie film, because that's obviously the genre that I love, because the soundtracks always are so good.
Yes. Yeah.
They're so good.
It's so good.
So I'm trying. I'm trying my best.
It really helped propel the story, and that's the correct way to use music
Yeah.
I mean, some 80s films I cannot say the same for.
Right.
70s does it best.
I am not heavy on dialogue.
Well, yeah.
I don't write a lot of dialogue. It's more visual. It's more poetic. And I use music to say what I don't really know how to say always. And so sometimes I let the music speak. And the characters are doing a lot more like introspective work. And partially is because, I don't know, I'm like, am I lazy? Is it just because I don't want to, I don't know, short films, I'm like, I'd rather you watch something visually interesting than just like fill it up with a bunch of banter back and forth.
Right.
I'm like a less is more kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
So when I write, it's like minimalistic. And if you notice with Tallulah Park, which I've never really talked about, a lot of the dialogue in that film were songs that I wrote, that I turned into dialogue. And I've never done that before because I wanted it to feel like a poem. And so some of the dialogue's like a little bit off, where you're like, the cadence seems weird and doesn't quite seem that's how people talk. And like, there's like some mystique to it. You know, some of it, like the bar scene where she's talking to this barman that's trying to dance with her and pick her up.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like a lot of times in Tallulah, she's like, you don't realize it, but she's talking to herself.
Yeah.
Like she's talking to another character, but she's like actually talking to herself.
Mm-hmm.
So something interesting I explored in this movie.
Yeah. I'm thinking of a few lines now that really make sense. Yeah, that's incredible.
Yeah, it was weird. It was super weird when I like started writing that way. I was like, oh, I have all this dialogue written. Why don't I just use this?
Yeah.
And I just started pulling pieces out of songs that I had written. And I'm not a songwriter. I guess you call them poems, but structured like songs.
Yeah. Like also Belle Isle was poems dispersed throughout the experimental format.
Yeah, there's a lot of poetry, obviously, in what I do, I think.
And what is the plan for releasing the film? What festivals will you be submitting to?
I'm putting together the list now, actually. I don't have that completed, but I'm going to be a smart filmmaker and look at the festivals that Belle Isle got into and probably pull some from that list.
Mm-hmm.
There were some really fun festivals. And, you know, our director, Farrell, now lives in Australia. So, like, it showed in Australia and she got to go to it. Like, that was really cool.
Yeah.
That was what was that? That wasn't in Sydney. That was in
Byron Bay?
Thank you, Byron Bay. So, like, things like that. I'm probably just going to go through the list. And then as I'm putting together, because I just got the latest cut and it's done. I just have to update some credits. But as that's all, like, wrapped up here in the next week, I'll start putting together that list. But I really want to focus on the South too and Florida. So I'm going to look mostly in Florida and Georgia. And then like I had friends recommend, you know, like Texas, you know, like Austin Film Festival, places like that. My friend Warren, who's a director here in Jacksonville, suggested like the Sarasota Film Festival.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to talk to friends and kind of put together that list. But I haven't really put a lot of thought behind it yet because I've just been trying to get it done.
Of course, yeah.
But that's okay. It's hitting circuit this month. So January, it's going to hit the circuit. So it takes a while. Belle Isle still is technically in festival circuit, even though it's like coming to the end. Like there's still like 8 festivals undecided.
Whoa, okay.
It goes
for a while.
Goes for a very long time. So I'm going to get her going on Film Freeway and just submit,
mm-hmm.
and then get back to writing.
Get back to writing for the next project.
I have to. I've like been on I've been slacking. It's been a year since I finished Tallulah Park. So got to get going again.
Yeah. You already have your next project you've teased a little bit, but I'm very excited to see what that'll be.
Yeah, I feel like it'll be an extension of Tallulah Park in some of the themes. I'm just going to go deeper into the character work and then kind of build out from there. But I'm not saying like Olivia will be in the movie,
mm-hmm.
but I think it'll feel like the same world.
Yeah. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I want it to feel like the same world because also I really want to shoot it here.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really want to shoot in Jacksonville because it'll be focused on this place again. Obviously, I'd get a better tax break if I went to Georgia or New Orleans
mm-hmm.
because that's what the people are doing. But I don't know. We will see. Financing will come when it comes, but my goal is obviously to shoot it here.
Yes. Thank you so much for joining me today, Michelle. I'm so happy to finally have met you in person, and I really admire your genuine artistry and hard work, not just in making films, but also being a boss and building your own business with Lula Films. We may not have gotten to work together on Tallulah Park, but I sincerely hope we will get to work together in the future. You have a great eye on each artistic medium you explore, and I'm very excited to see what you do next.
Yes, I hope we work together soon. And thank you so much for having me. This was such an insightful opportunity to talk. And you've brought up amazing questions that even I had forgotten about. So
Yay.
Thank you for taking me down memory lane. It's been really fun.
I'm so happy you enjoyed it and liked the questions.
Of course. Keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And Tallulah Park will be having a premiere in Jacksonville soon, and be on the lookout for the film festival circuit. I will be sure to let you all know on the All the Film Things Instagram when it is widely available to watch. But also go to lulafilms.com to learn more about Michelle's production company, as well as watch her past work. Is there a film recommendation, a line from a film, really anything you'd like to conclude our episode with today?
The only thing that came to mind, and I don't even know if it's from a film, but like Keep On Keeping On.
Keep on keeping on.
Like, is that from a film? Like, someone tell me.
It must be.
But I was like, it's gotta be.
It
Like,
has to be,
keep
yeah.
on keeping on. That's all I can say. Like, just keep going, keep making it. Like I said, soft focus on the future, know where you're going, but like, stay nimble.
Stay nimble, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Be flexible.
I haven't heard that word in so long, but yeah,
Yeah.
stay nimble.
You have to in the arts.
Mm-hmm.
Keep on keeping on, everybody.
I will recommend everyone go to lulafilms.com to watch Belle Isle, because I've seen it like 4 or 5 times and it's excellent. And let's see, what else should I recommend? Lee, in terms of photography, Kate Winslet playing Lee Miller.
Oh yeah, I want to see that.
Oh, it's so good. Kate Winslet is
Yeah,
fantastic.
that's on my list.
It's so good. And Opening Night, I recommend everyone check that one out.
Yeah,
It's
that
a great
one's.
film.
If you love Woman Under the Influence, watch Opening Night.
Yes. Amazing film. Thank you again so much for joining me today, Michelle. And thank you all for listening. And Michelle, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful episode.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Take care.
Special thanks to Michelle Calloway, Dr. Jillian Smith, Taylor Donaldson, and the Two Floridian podcast. This episode was recorded on January 16th, 2025.